paper. I am Brianna. Today I play along with Mixed Media Mayhem, and on the last Friday of the month, they allow us all to join in, and they give us a inspiration layout, and then we go from there. This is by Julie Taylor. It is a Hip Kit Club layout, and I'm really enjoying. I love looking at this. So on the top, you can see they use some kind of medium, and it looks like a stencil, and then some kind of media to go on top of that to color it. So this is my background paper. I have a couple things going on here. So I went to my Paige Evans Wander, and I pulled out some pieces, and I really let this be my inspiration. Now the photos that I have are from Disney. These are not Disney colors, but you can see all these great colors that we're wearing. I thought about putting them in black and white, but then I didn't want to go with a black and white layout. So I first grabbed this out, and I thought instead of the striped piece, I'll have this. And then I just have different colors that go along with what we're wearing. Blues, pinks, purples, okay? I'm being a little hesitant about using those, only in that I wanna create that stencil part first. I've grabbed out my texture paste. It's translucent from Ranger. So I'm gonna use that, and instead of using the floral stencil that you see in the photo, I thought maybe it might work with this stencil. It's Going Places by Simple Stories. I didn't want the floral and the floral. She's got the floral mixed media and the stripes. I'm gonna have the geotag mixed media and the floral. I'm a little bit hesitant about Paige Evans, the paper that I pulled, because I am going to use my watercolors. I love my watercolors. I usually use them for Bible journaling. I have branched out a little bit into painting with watercolors, and I just want to make sure the colors look okay with it. Not that it has to be matchy-matchy, but I just loved how Taylor did her layout, and it just looks so pretty with all the matching colors. So I want to kind of use that as my inspiration, and I'm hoping that this will work. So I'm really going to start off with that. Oh, the other thing I have is I don't have, like, I know there's Vicki Boutin mixed media paper. This is watercolor paper. It is cold press. I'm not sure if it's gonna make any difference that I use a watercolor paper or not, but we're gonna figure this out together. So this is what I'm gonna use my stencil on, and then I'll layer the paper, and then the one important thing for me to do is gonna be not to forget to do the mixed media down this way. I'm gonna have to find some embellishments. The other thing to note is that I made these I used my Project Life app. So this printed as one picture. And then this one, I printed a whole bunch of 2x2s using the same app. I actually did some Vacation Bible School photos along with this, so I will have those for a future date. But I think I might trim these down a little bit. Poor Meredith looks just so small on all these photos, but my photos will be bigger than the ones used in the layout. So let's get scrapping. So here I pull out the paste, and I pull out my Simple Stories travel stencil, and I just put it on along the whole stencil. That is a 6x6 stencil, so what I end up doing is, while it's still wet, I peel it up, and then I overlap it just the last couple pieces with the other side. And you won't see me doing all this, but it works really well. And I just go along the page, and I don't worry about doing the top part of the page, because that's going to get covered. Well, it's going to get cut off, actually. So you'll see me pull this up, and then I jump ahead a little bit. Or maybe I don't. Oh, there we go. So here we jumped ahead. Here it is all dry. And I test my colors out. First, I was like, oh, that's a bad idea. You got to use a scratch piece of paper. So I just took one that I had like stamped on and I hadn't used to make sure that the colors were coordinating with the paper that I used. This whole layout turns out to be very busy and much more busy than what I'm used to. In the future, I don't know, I guess I might not use the floral, but it was kind of a nod to the scrap lift because they had done the florals on the top with the stencils. So that's why I kind of went that direction. So I've got my yellow from the paper pad colors, but then I'm trying to find a blue that I like that goes along with it. And I don't have my, and that's the blue I chose. And I don't have my watercolors very well marked. I think my the watercolors should be listed where I got them on Amazon. I think it should be linked below, but it's not like it says light blue or anything on it. So someday I might give them my own names and label them. But there's a kind of an orange color, and I'm trying to be random, which is, as I've said, I'm not very good at. I like to be more kind of linear and have some kind of pattern. So random is super hard for me, but I keep practicing. I keep trying the best that I can. And so I'm just going to get all these colors down first before I use the colors over again and repeat them. And I didn't have a light blue that I liked, so I pulled out some of my acrylic paints that I got at Hobby Lobby. And you can see here that I'm adding some water to it to kind of thin it out because I want it to be more of a watercolor effect, even though that yellow is pretty vibrant, that yellow watercolor. So at one point, I think I even take like a paper towel kind of it didn't seem to resist some of it. You can see the colors down there are really resisting well, but that yellow for some reason covered the whole thing, and then you couldn't get the effect of the stencil underneath it. And I apologize for being off camera somewhat. I had a setup with an app where I could project what I'm recording from my phone onto my iPad right in front of me, and that is now charging me money, so I decided to forgo that, but I haven't found a new one to replace it yet. So I was kind of blindly, and I shouldn't say blindly, but with being used to seeing it on the screen and not, it was difficult for me to do this without watching myself, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Here you can see I'm repeating the colors. I've already repeated the yellow, I repeated the green. Here's that orangey color. And there's the purple. And again, I'm enjoying this. This is not my favorite layout. These are I do like bright colors, but it's a lot going on right here. I think I would have been happy with one color maybe. Oh, no, two. I think I've done that before where I've had two colors over the top of the glaze, and that goes well. You'll have to tell me at the end what you think. If it's too much color, not enough color, just the right, you tell me. So I did scuff up the whole thing with my scissors. My Tim Holtz distressing tool is probably lost somewhere on my desk. I do take the first piece of paper and tuck it underneath. I'm getting ready to glue everything down. Once I get it, I think I want to end up pulling up that light blue to put a different color underneath it. And so once I get, oh, no, okay. Oh, I still think I'm going to pull it up though. Yep, I put this aside, and then I'm going to rip some of my layers. There we go. So I thought that piece was too long, that floral piece was too long. And so then I did stick the blue down on top of that, and then I can sneak the whole thing up, and it doesn't give me, then that just gives me a shorter amount of the floral at the bottom, and that's what I was trying to achieve. And then once that gets all glued down, I will take that washi tape that you saw me grab, and that's $49 to market, and it's stitching, and it's super cool because you don't have to stitch, you don't have to get out your stamp, but it's washi tape. And so I lay the stitching down, and then I move on to my other layers. So here is that, and I just tried to keep like more solid pieces, and this I would read more as a solid, next to that floral, so that you kind of have the calming next to the bright crazy colors, if that makes sense. I like that purple is a nice kind of a, almost reads as a solid too, even though it's got some pattern to it. Breaks up some of all that craziness of the color. I don't know if I call it craziness, but vibrancy of the color. And then those in the inspiration piece were rolled, so I do roll them a little bit. You'll see me do that more in a minute. I'll speak to that, but just still trying to get all the layers down and attached with my ATG gun. I think there's at least one more. There we go. So another floral, you know, it's got some more color in it, but it's just another nice hint of color at the bottom there. So the next thing I do is get out some clean water. Oh no, never mind. I get out the dirty water. But I'm still using that for, you can see some mixed media then under the pieces on the inspiration layout that you can just see the watercolor or paint or what have you. That gets tucked under the embellishments and I don't think you end up seeing it at all. But I did painted some and then I splattered some. And here I'm taking the clean water and I believe it was Sarah Davies with my Little Magpie YouTube video that, or YouTube channel that let us all know that you can use water when you're kind of rolling your edges, and when it dries it stays, rather than if you did it without the water it might uncurl again. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm carefully putting some water on each layer, and then curling it up. And that does take me a little time just to be particular and get it exactly the way I want and make sure that all the pieces are curled. While I'm doing that, I just want to remind you to look down below and you will see the list of everyone that's playing along with Mixed Media Mayhem. Be sure to check everybody else's version out. There is a lot of people there that have much more experience with mixed media than myself, and then even if you don't have any experience, it's just fun to see what everybody else is doing and their different interpretation of the lift of the layout. Mixed Media Mayhem is on every Friday of the month, but on the last Friday they ask all of us to join in and do a lift with them, so that's what I do. I did trim some of the curling of the paper out so you don't have to watch all of that, and now I just go in with more adhesive, this time with liquid glue, just to make sure it's all stuck down well. So I bring out my photos, and I wasn't sure what kind of embellishments I was going to use, but on my trays next to me that hold my some collections and some unfinished projects, things I want to use, and I found Vicki Boutin. So I kind of have them all together. So I just bring out flowers. Here's a cloud, a fern leaf, and just items that'll go well with the watercolor that I did. Here I find this red car, which is perfect because we're in a car at Disney, driving those cars at Disney. So really loved that, thought that was perfect. Now she had all those cute little pieces on the bottom. I found this big tag and I just liked it, and then that's how all the mixed media gets covered up, but I'm okay with that, and I do put more embellishments around it just to give it that same vibe as the lift that we're doing. The tag says the story, and it does have room for journaling on it because we won't be doing a lot since we're journaling on a lot of Disney pages. And the car says road trip, which I just think is kind of cute because, again, we were driving cars. So I go ahead and glue down the photos. Make sure those are secure, but that I'm not gluing the edges so that I can tuck things in if needed. My nails are very short, so I have a hard time picking this fern leaf up to get the glue underneath it and everything, or to move it around. So I get the pictures down, make sure I'm happy with that, and then I'll go to the florals. And I not only have these embellishment florals, but I also have some stickers. And then I noticed with the voiceover, I didn't have the cloud on, I don't think, but it does end up there now, and it works good there. And I layer all the florals around. there's not a lot of florals left to this collection that I have, so I just want to use them up when I have the opportunity, get them out of my stash, and I like the way they coordinate, and maybe it brings, this is going to sound weird, but maybe it brings some of the busyness down because it breaks up all those different watercolor pieces. So you'll have to let me know how you feel about it. Sometimes busy is good, and I know I have a certain style, but I don't want every page in my layout to look not the same, because they wouldn't be the same. They're all different, but you need to change it up. I need to change it up every once in a while. And you do you, and if you want every page to look the same, that's okay too. I liked the roller skate. I don't think I'm going to have another opportunity to use something like that. And it has wheels, it's transportation, and we were having fun. So I thought that was a good layout to use that on. And then I think that was a sticker, and that sticker will not stay there. Some of those florals move around because I find different embellishments and things. So I'm just looking for places to fill in the gaps and use those pieces. And here is the floral that ends up going by the roller skate, and so that one sticker will move. And I thought I could fit it in somewhere else, but I think it ends up back on the sticker sheet actually. And I wanted to get that vase of flowers in, and I don't think that makes it. And I do find a couple of just a little interesting pieces to fit in there. So this says the Sweet Life, this little bottle of soda. So in the midst of all those florals, that gets tucked in. I really wanted to use that vase one, but that wasn't gonna work there. So the Sweet Life goes in there. And what else do I pull out? I was still working around with those little florals that don't get on there. So this is from like a sticker book from that same collection of Vicki Boutin, and I pulled out 3 tags because you can see in her layout there are tags. And I wasn't sure I was going to mimic that. I wasn't sure I was going to do the same thing. I thought maybe something else. But these, I really like how those fit in there. These are stickers. These are probably smaller than what she had. My space, and I'm a visual person, you can tell my spatial dimensions are different than hers. I don't know if hers was a 12 by 12, but mine, I think on the bottom it gets longer going down, and I probably had more space on the top as well. So my tags probably go longer, if that makes sense. They're longer than the one that we're copying, but it still looks good. And I use those 3 tags, and I really could journal on there then as well, right? Or write the date. Maybe write some Disney words. I do get some more florals on there. And then I'm going to trim off that tag that overhangs. And the overhanging of the items on a page is a good thing. When it runs off the page, it makes it look more random and finished and interesting. So I want to thank you so much for watching until the end. I'm just putting some string into the tag holes there. Please, if you haven't considered subscribing yet, I ask that you would consider subscribing. I'm getting close to my 500 subscribers. Super excited to hit that milestone. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I'll see you again soon for another video.